Not expecting does not mean I become a couch potato and just sit here and whatever happens, happens, and my roof is leaking, and whether it's because the guy above me, his, pipes are leaking, or whether because it's raining and I never bothered to get my roof fixed. Either way, I'll just sit here and get, wet. That's not what it means. Here's what it looks like. Let's take your example. So the guy above me in the house has pipes that are leaking. They're running down my walls. Now, not expecting him to do something about it doesn't mean that I don't exercise my right to insist that he does something about it. But the non-expectation is the place that I'm coming from inside. So here's the difference of what it looks like. Let's say you're the upstairs neighbor. I'm you. In the case where I have an expectation, I go to you and I say, you better fix your pipes because they're leaking in my apartment. And you say, no. Thanks. And you slam the door in my face. I freak out. Because you have to fix those pipes. I have set myself up in such a way, this is your responsibility. You better fix those pipes. You saying no has absolutely pulled out the rug from under me. It has pulled out the foundation of my life. What I want is not happening. I then, depending on who I am, do any one of a variety of different things. I could kick your door down and beat you up. I could go home and get drunk. I could go home and commit suicide. I'm giving you the whole spectrum of the ways that people respond when the world is not behaving the way that we would like it to. I could just become really, really angry. I could not kick your door in, not get drunk, but be so angry that halfway down the stairs I have a fatal heart attack. Okay? All of these are very real possibilities. A more light possibility is don't kick your door down, don't get drunk, don't have the heart attack, but nonetheless, it's festering inside of me. A couple weeks from now, I develop this pain in my stomach. I go to the doctor. He says, yeah, it looks like you've got an ulcer starting. Are you under some kind of stress? Or I go for my checkup and my blood pressure's higher. Or suddenly now, my wife and I, my kids and I, my colleagues and I aren't getting along. I've become really cranky, very, very short-tempered. I've lost my patience. And they say, what's going on? You okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Just get out of my way. So you see, it's this guy, his pipes, but my expectation that has created this havoc in my life. Now, neither committing suicide, nor getting drunk, nor kicking down his door, nor having a heart attack on the staircase, nor fighting with my loved ones is going to make him change his mind. I could take him to court. I could force the court to get this guy to change his pipes. And I could spend, depending on what country you live in India, it could be the rest of your life. Maybe in other countries, it could be a little bit sooner than that, to get this guy to do his pipes. And maybe at the end of the day they would, because it is his responsibility. But on an emotional level, what I've lost is a lot, as you can see from all these examples. Now here's option 2, what we're talking about. I'm still you. You're still the upstairs guy. I still go up there and I say, your pipe is leaking. And that's your responsibility to fix it. I'm just as strong. I'm just as aware of my rights. You say, no. And you slam the door in my face. Now, it's not what I wanted. It's not my first choice. I don't say, oh, thanks, that was so great. That's what I was hoping you would say. I don't send you flowers. But because I wasn't attached to you doing it, because I never really expected you to do it, I knew it was right, you were supposed to do it, but because I'm not moving through the world with this attachment to the idea that everybody is going to do what they're supposed to do, I'm able now to deal with the situation with a calm mind. Maybe I do take him to court, but I do it without getting an ulcer. I do it without ruining the relationship with my family. I do it without needing, a 6-pack of beer every time I sit down to look at the case. Maybe I simply talk to the landlord. Maybe when I look at the situation, I call in a plumber. The plumber says to me, you know what, that's going to cost you 30 euros. All right, now that 30 euros really should come from that guy's pocket. That is not my responsibility. On the other hand, it's not that much money. And if I've got it, the question is my piece worth 30 euros? Even if it's not my responsibility. Yes, in the absolute perfect supreme justice system, that 30 euros should have come out of that guy's pocket. But we don't live in an ideal world. We live in a real world. And while it's wonderful to be optimistic and it's wonderful to assume that you're going to get the best from everyone and to walk into every situation giving everyone the benefit of the doubt, the question becomes, do we operate our lives as though we lived in an ideal world and then lose ourselves when it doesn't respond like that? Or are we able to hold the vision of the ideal while moving through very clearly in the real? Ideally, the guy fixes his pipes. In a reality, I've got a choice. I pay the 30 euros to get it fixed and be done. Or I live with a wet couch or a wet wall. Or I suffer while I wait for the court to decide my decision, my case. Or I harass the guy. Or, you could plot all kinds of revenge. The question is, what's most important to you? There's no right answer. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you what's most important to you. But to me, peace is most important. And since my attachment to how this guy behaves is coming in between me and peace, I can't change him. That's for sure. So my only option is to change myself. And of course, it's going to vary situation to situation. 30 euros might be doable, but 300 euros might not. Then you've got to look at a different option. But in every situation, the question becomes not that I don't assert myself, not that I don't, assume that people are going to respond in the best way. Not that I let the world walk all over me, not that I get taken advantage of, but simply that I am moving through the world with a vision of the real, rather than assuming that everything is ideal. We have to be realistic. Again, while holding out the vision of the ideal, let's move toward that absolutely. But if this upstairs guy doesn't want to go along on your journey toward the ideal, okay. Well, at least I can take myself there. Just because he's not getting on the boat to ideal, beautiful world doesn't mean that I can't. Doesn't mean I have to ruin the next 5 or 50 years of my life embroiled in a court case over a leaky pipe. Or, doing all kinds of other horrendous things. So this is, when we talk about no expectation, this is really what we mean is, sure, hold on to the concept of ideal. Absolutely, why not? Optimists are healthier, happier people than pessimists. This is true by science. Be an optimist. But when it doesn't pan out like you had expected, have the mental flexibility to reshuffle. Okay, so this is not how I thought it was going to go. All right. What's our second option? And for me, it's almost always to choose peace. I'd much rather choose peace than a war with this guy. And so I have to let go of my attachment to how he behaves. And this is true whether it's your upstairs neighbor, whether it's your people who live in your own house. Anything in the world. This is how we move.